Hey guys, how are you doing tonight? I'm on at my original 8 o'clock time. It's been a while since I've done an 8 o'clock live, but I'm Julie with Nothing is Wasted Designs, and I'm going to try and get that camera so that it's a little better centered. I think I need to go this way. Let me move my chair over. There we go. That's better. So hope y'all have had a wonderful day. I've had an amazing day. And I'm gonna come on here and we are going to finish this project that we started. Remember that we started this Saturday, and then I thought I was going to come on Monday, but I had an event, and then I thought I was going to come on Tuesday, but I had another event, and today is Wednesday, so here I am. We're here to finish this up, and we're going to see how this goes. So this is what we painted. Remember we did the, this has got some textured paint to it. I don't know if you can't really tell, but it does have a little bit of a raised look to it. And then of course we've got the sand and the water and then the sky. And so I was trying to figure out what is the best way to do what I want to do. And I think the best way to do it. Now, remember that the reason why we did not finish this is because the paint was so thick that I did not feel like I was going to get a, I felt like I was, the stencil was going to stick to the paint. Hey, Amanda, I thought that the paint was going to stick to the stencil, and then when I pulled the stencil up, it was going to lift up the paint. So I've given it several days to dry, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go in here. All right, let me show you again the, this is what we're going to stencil. I'm showing it, it's backwards on my end because Facebook is backwards for y'all. So I want you to see what this looks like. And I'm thinking I'm going to do white for beach bums and welcome, and probably do white up here. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to do, I'm not going to do the grass, but I think I am going to do the waves in white, and then I want to do the chairs. So we're going to see how this is going to all shake out. So let me put this on here. And then remember that this is an essential stencil. And I'm going to just take some painter's tape. Oh, and you know what? I better cover up this grass because I'm thinking I'm not going to do the grass. So knowing me, the best thing for me to do is to cover that up so that I don't accidentally go over it, because I get to working and then I forget. And then I do stuff that I didn't think I wanted to do. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to do the shells. But I also have some real shells that that I want to incorporate into this. So let's see. Oh, I didn't. All right. Whoops. Hang on. And then I want to take a piece of tape and I want to tape this onto the board so that it doesn't shift on me while I am stenciling. Let me see what we got. This is a 12 by 12 inch stencil, and I'm doing this on a 12 by 12 inch canvas panel. So let me get the tape on here so that this does not shift. And I think I'm going to put one down at the bottom also, and see how this does. Okay, that looks good. That looks good. All right, here we go, y'all. Now, I'm going to take some of my cardboard. Let me take this piece here. I've got a couple pieces of cardboard that I have cut up, and I'll get my tape out of the way. And I think I want to start with, I'm going to start with white. I think I want to do this bird in black. Then we're going to do the chairs. I think I want to do the chairs in red and black. I had thought originally that I was going to start with, what do I want to say? Just lost my train of thought, y'all. I thought I was going to do just a like a silhouette, but I've decided that I don't think this is going to show up. Oh, what should I do? What should I do? Hey, Judy, how are you? We're going to finish up this piece that I started back on Saturday, and then I'm going to add some real shells, and oh gosh, y'all. All right, I'm going to just do it. All right, I'm going to go with this theory here. If the white doesn't work with it, then I can always go over it with black, right? So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to turn this around so that even though it's backwards, it doesn't need to be backwards and upside down for y'all. So I'm going to go in here with white and see what happens. Since this is on such a dark background, I'm thinking that white is going to be the color that I need to use. Not completely certain, but we will see. All right, this is going to be really light, and I want it to be light because I'm going to come back over with some jute, and we're going to glue that on there so that that looks more like a thatched roof. All right, here we go. Holding this down so that it doesn't get any bleeding. But and rather than go through and add the waves beforehand, if I want to add any waves afterwards, then I'll be able to do that. So that's kind of where my thinking is going with that. All right, we're going to just get, and that white's not going to be, you know, it may end up that black is the color, but we can always go over the white with black. It will be harder to go over, it's easier to go over black on white than it is white on black. All right, here we go. I'm just loading and offloading. And then after we get our stencil on here, we will go through and we will add our embellishments. This part here I don't think is going to take very long, but you know, I never know. That's going to be awful light. And like I said, if I have to come through and add black here, then that won't be a problem. And it looks like I may have to. It looks like this is not going to come out as bright as I thought it was. So hey Debbie, how are you? Good to see you. So this is a piece that I started. We did the water and the sand and the sky. We painted all of that on Saturday. And the paint I used a heavy body acrylic paint, and the paint was so thick that I really needed to give it a couple of days to dry before we could add the stencil on here. And I'm not totally convinced that white is the right color to do here, but in the event that it's not, we can go over it with black without any trouble at all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm not sure that this isn't even going to show up. So I'm going to do that come back with like a khaki color for the umbrella, because the umbrella is going to have a it's going to have like a thatched roof look to it. I'm going to come back behind and just spit all over myself. I'm going to come back behind with some jute, and we're going to glue that over top of it just to give it a little bit of a 3D effect. And then I also have some real seashells that I want to put on here. So, okay, let's see what we got. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to try and go over this one more time. See what happens. And if I don't get good coverage with this, then I'll go over it with black. Well, I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work, y'all. I'm just going to have to put a couple of coats on this. So I'm kind of excited to see how this is going to turn out. We went, my nephew and I went today to a a place where we were able to bless some residents with some of the pieces that I have. And we gave them to them and were able to visit with them and everything. So that was a lot of fun today. Great opportunity. The Lord had told me to find an assisted living place and just bless them with some of the pieces that I have. And so that's what we went and did today. And we had such an amazing time. And so hopefully we can go back and bless them again in the future. So, all right, y'all, let's see what we got. I think I like it. I think I'm liking it. So let's see how this is going to shake out. Remember that when you're working with the stencils in a stencil brush, you want to load and then you want to offload your paint so that you don't get any bleeding underneath your stencil. All right, and I'm going back over this a third time just so that it has a little bit of pop. I'm going to come back with the umbrella, and I will, I'm going to go over kind of like a khaki color, more of a jute color. All right, we're going to get the bird again so that the bird will pop. And let's dry this, and then we will put a little bit more, another layer on here. Doesn't take very long for this Americana. I'm just using an Americana white, and it doesn't take very long for this to dry. So we're going to go over it one more time, and I think that will be good. We will see. And then I'm thinking that I may use the heavy-bodied acrylic paint to add some more waves in here afterwards. I kind of wanted to get the lettering on here and see kind of where there were holes, where it needed where it needs some filling in. All right, so this is looking better. I'm not seeing the waves as much behind this like I did when I started, so that's kind of the plan. I still want a little bit of the wave action. All right, let's see what we got. Liking it. Let's see what we got over here. I like that. All right, so the question is, okay, I've got some waves here, so we're going to put some waves in here. And I've got some waves over here. Let me pull this back so y'all can see what I'm doing. And I haven't decided. I think I want to do the sailboat in red and white so that we give it just a pop of color. And then I'm thinking we'll do the chairs. Do I want to do the chairs? Do we want to do them in white? Maybe we should do everything in white. Let's do that. Let's do everything in white. Give it kind of a base coat. All right, I've got these stars down here. We'll do these stars. Going to do everything in white, and then we'll come back over it with a pop of color. That's just going to make it so that these stand out a little bit better. So y'all know me, you know, it's just, I just kind of have to follow the project and see how it kind of uncovers, and then go from there. All right, we got a white over here. We're going to do these waves in white too. I'm using an essential stencil brush. These are the mini brushes with an essential stencil stencil. And this is you use a stencil brush with these. And I like to swirl. Some people like to pounce. Sometimes, depending upon the project, I have been known to pounce. I had some project that I did with a bunch of different stripes, and I used a makeup sponge, and that ended up being the right thing to do because there were so many small lines together that I wouldn't have been able to swirl it. All right, I'm going to do one more layer, I think, on top of Beach Bums. And I'm going to have to come back with a different color that's a little bit darker. All right, here we go. And then we're going to come back over that. So I'm going to get a little bit more white. So did anybody do anything fun and exciting today? I'm usually home most of the time, but today was a day that I actually was able to get out and go visit some residents in an assisted living home. So that was fun. That was the highlight of my day. And spending time with my nephew. All right, here we go. We're going to come over this. Let's see what we got. Looks good. This is a fun stencil. I know summer is almost over. We're like almost midway through August, and September is upon us, but this is a fun stencil. We're gonna liven this up a little bit. All right, so let me go. I'm gonna do one more pass on these waves here, and if I have to, I will. All right, let's see what I want to do. Do I want to do those in white? I don't know if that's going to show up. All right, hang on a minute, y'all. Let me look. I don't think that these are gonna. Boy, this is kind of tricky. There we go. All right, let me look at this. Oh, this is going to be kind of neat. All right, so I'm going to use the white on the shells. They kind of blend in with this. Move that out of the way. It's kind of like almost like a shadow. All right. And just giving it another pass on these letters because we really want the welcome to shine, to pop out on this. Here we go. Just doing lots of light layers so that we don't get any bleeding underneath the stencil. Now this will get to be a little bit more fun once we start decorating everything after we get this off. All right, let's see. Okay, so now for the sailboat. I think I want to do the bottom of the sailboat. Let me get a smaller brush. And I'm going to take one of these, I'm going to do the bottom of the sailboat in red. So let me get, which red do I want? I want a deep red. I think I'm going to do this red here. And oh, there's a mosquito in here. It's gonna attack me while I'm online, y'all. All right, I'm gonna do this. Put that over here. And we're gonna come in here with the red. And we want to load and then we want to offload. And this is what keeps us from getting any bleeding underneath the, all right, here we go. May have to go with a brighter color. We'll see. May have to do several colors. Several coats. I'm going to do the bottom of the sailboat in red, and I'm going to do the top. In white. And it's going to take a few layers to get this red to show up on this. All right, and then I'm going to come up here and we're going to do the white. Do the white sails. Let's see how that's going to turn out. I think that mosquito bit me. I feel like it bit my hand. I think that's going to be good. All right, so we got a little pop of red there. I come back over here and do another layer of the white so that we can see that show up. And then I've got this layer here. These are the waves. And I'm going to do these shells again now that that's dry. And then I think I want to add just, well, you know what? If I mix a little bit of white, well, I don't want to do that yet. All right, let's come back over the sailboat and give it another coat. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, that's cute. That's gonna work. Okay, so now what we want to do, so we've got everything from here to here. We're gonna go in here and I want to do the chairs. I think I want to do the chairs in red, but I'm going to do them in white first so that I can block out some of the green and get a better look on this. So let me go. I'm going to do all of this in white, and then I'm going to come back over this. So sometimes when you're working with something that's already painted, I have learned this. This is not something that I knew, but what I have learned is that when you white something out, it kind of brings it back to its neutral state, and then it makes it so that your colors that you're going to use end up being more vibrant. So that's why I'm going to go over this in white first. And then I will come back and pick this up, and I'm going to use, I'm going to do brown for the wood part, and I'm going to do red for the part of the chair that's the canvas part that you sit on. All right, here we go. Kind of excited to see how this is going to turn out. Here we go, another layer. You have to let it dry in between layers, otherwise all you end up doing is pushing paint around. And you don't get any thickness. And we're after some thickness. All right, I'm going to do these sails again. I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to do the red, the bottom of this in red again, just to give it just a little bit more pop. Okay. All right, see what we got. We've got everything except for, all right, let's get this bird over here. And this is not showing up on the sky, so I'll have to maybe either skip that bird or do the bird in another color. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to come back over this particular shell. And this shell here. I'm using the mini brushes from Essential Stencil. The bristles are like really, really soft, so it helps to get in small places. And they come in a package of 4. So you've got a variety of sizes. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, y'all, it's looking good. All right, so I guess the question I have, all right, let me turn around and look at this a minute. Let me peek and see what we got. I want a may. All right, let's see here. Do I want to keep that white is the question. Let me think. Let me think. All right, let me get some more white on here. Make sure I get all of these parts. I'm kind of thinking I like the red. I think I want the red because I want the red to pop. All right, so I'm going to come over this and do one more layer on here. All right, let me look at it. All right, I'm going to get a small brush and the mosquitoes biting me, y'all. Let me get, there is, I think I'll use this one for, I'm going to use this brush here. I think I'm going to, do I want to do this? I think I do. I think I want the wood. All right, here we go. We're going for the brown, y'all. I'm going to go for brown. I'm going to go for the brown and red chairs. Give it kind of a wood texture. So here we go. Let's keep our fingers crossed. I may just do a light touch on this, not actually fill it all the way in. So that it has, like, you know, a little bit of a wood look to it. All right, again, I'm going to take and I'm going to load and then we're going to offload. And then we're going to come down here and same thing. Okay, this is part of the wood. So we're going to come in here and just kind of lightly trying to keep from going into the chair. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit more brown, and the brown that I'm using is a dark chocolate, Americana dark chocolate, and it's just an acrylic, a craft acrylic. All right, here we go. All right, making sure that I offload. Coming across the top. And then I think I'm going to go over some of these shells with a little bit of brown also, because shells have some brown, maybe some like burgundy. All right, let's see. This is the wooden slat on the chair. It's kind of tricky in here. This is where these little brushes are really going to make a difference. All right, we're going to get a little bit more. Oops, I was sticking to the tape. And I'm kind of intentionally not doing it real dark because I want variations of the wood like the sun is shining differently in different spots. All right, here we go. Turn this around so I get a better. There we go. Okay. All right, so we got that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to just lightly dust these shells, just lightly. And then I'm going to come back with a little bit of pink on this conch shell. And of course you can do this however you want. If you want everything to be all one color, then that's going to make the stenciling that much easier. As you switch between colors, that's when the difficulty increases. All right, and so this is the back of the chair. Gonna get that. Get a little bit more paint. Okay, this is the front of the chair, so I'm going to take and get that wood look. Get a little bit more brown on these shells, slight bit of there, and then I'll come back with the pink on that conch shell. All right, here we go. And now we're going to come up. And then the last thing we'll do is, well, I've got to come up. I'm going to have to go up top here. All right, let me turn this so that I have a better angle. And we're going to come in here and we're going to do the side where this wood frame is. All right, get a little bit more paint. You don't want to use too much. Okay, let's see what we got. I want to come down here a little bit more. You can go over it as many times as you want for however dark you want it to be. All right, I want to check this out. Oh, this is going to be good. Yeah, okay, so now what I want to do is, oh, I got to get this spot over here, so hold on. We got one more side of this chair to do. And I'm using 820, 250, or 8/25. Hey Patricia, how are you? I'm finishing up this beach scene that we started back on Saturday. And we did the background on Saturday. And now what we're doing is we're doing the stenciling. All right. Kind of just checking this to see. All right, that looks good. So now what we need is we need to come in here with, I should have used, I guess, a bigger red brush. I'm going to get a little bit more of this red on this sailboat. This brush is going to be too small, so I'm going to get a bigger brush, and I'm going to come in here, and we're going to do this part of the chair. And I'm going to bring this blocker, and I'm going to put it right up next to that. And when I have things that are really, really close and I want to make sure that I don't get any bleeding or anything, then what I will do is I will take wherever the edge of the stencil is, and I will go from the edge into the center of it, of the design, and then that helps to keep the bleeding down. Okay. All right, we're going to come around here. All right, so there's the chair. All right, let me see if I can lift this up and see. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing for the other chair. We're going to just kind of put a light coat of red on this. And I'm going to go from, hi Viola, how are you? Do the same thing. We're going to load the brush, and then we're going to offload so that we don't get too much paint on here. And I'm going to go into the center of the design from the edge. So make it so that, all right, I'm going to get 2 of these, y'all. So this little piece of paper that I'm working with, it comes in all of the stencils from Essential Stencil. And if you're interested in any of their stencils, I have a 10% off code that is Nothing is Wasted with no spaces. And it'll save you 10% on anything that you buy from Essential Stencil. All right, here we go. Just kind of going along the side here. Trying to keep from going into the wood. All right, let's see what we have. Let me just kind of peek at this and see if I feel like I want more of this on here. Nope. I'm gonna lift that tape up. Hang on. Okay, let me just add just a little bit more. Not much. All right, we've got that. All right, so what do we have left? I've got up here, so that means I need to go in with my brown. I'm gonna go back in here with the brown. Remember that we're gonna put jute over this. All right, here we go, y'all. So we're just kind of, for the most part, we're just giving ourselves an outline. And we may put the jute in some places and not in other places. I haven't decided yet. I won't know until I actually get into, and I'll probably go over the pole. Let me go over this pole in brown also. Okay. And here we go. Loading and offloading. Make sure I'm in the screen. And I'm not going to do this, you know, real dark or anything, because like I said, I'm going to be coming back over this. And I hope the jute, let me see what color it is. You know, I probably should have checked that first. I am thinking this is kind of light. Can't remember. It'll be good. It'll be good enough. All right, here we go. All right. Almost ready for the reveal, y'all. Let me turn this around so you can see what's going on here. Kind of get this from a different angle. All right, I think this is going to do it. All right, I got one bird here. Do we want to do this bird? I think I'm going to leave that bird off of there. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. Hold on. I want to grab. All right, so I don't think I need any more red. Maybe just enough on the edges here. Okay, I'm gonna put that in my water. And is this my white? Or is that a clean brush? I think that's a clean brush. Hold on, let me see. There's red, there's brown. Nope, that must be my white brush. All right, so what was I? Oh, I wanted to get a small brush to come in here. And I want to add just a little bit of pink to, all right, so I'm going to take this, let me do this. Why don't I just add some white to the red and see what we get. All right, we're going to take this red, just a dab of it, and we're going to see what color we get. A little bit too much brown in it. All right, let's see what we can do here. Let's try, let's tone this down a little bit with this blush color. Maybe. A little bit of pink. Not quite. All right, and then I'm going to add just a little bit of brightness. I'm just going to mix this until I get what I want, y'all. I like that a little bit better. A little bit brighter, but not too bright. And I'm not going to need much of this, because I'm just going to go, I'm just going to highlight this a little bit. My husband and I went to Jamaica on our honeymoon, and the conch shells were just absolutely gorgeous. All right, so just going to kind of add just a little bit of pink to that. Let's see what we got. Let me look at it. Maybe. Let's see here. I got an idea. I'm going to go pink and then do white highlights. I think that's going to be a better way to do this. And I'll come in with a small brush for highlights. Get my white. We want this to dry. And we're going to come in here with some white. Just kind of play with this. Tone it down a little bit. All right, that looks good. And this is my white. Yeah, this is my white. Come in here. Small white brush. And just doing some little small detail stuff. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, this is looking good, looking good. Can barely see that, so gosh, there's a part of me that wants just making it don't want to make it too brown, because then it's gonna All right, let's see what we have, y'all. See what this pink thing's gonna do. And, all right, I'll put the brown in the water. And we're gonna just go over this one more time with the white. What little is in the brush. Giving it just one more coat. One more coat. All right, I think we've got it. I think this is it. One more coat on the sail. And a little more over here, a little more over here, a little bit more over here. All right, let me look this up and see what we got. You can barely see those, but that's okay. All right, I think I want to go ahead and I'm gonna just kind of move this into the background. I'm not thrilled with that yet. That'll be good. This will be good. This will be good. Yeah, this is better. All right. And then I'm going to add some shells along the way. All right, let's see what we got. All right, this is looking good. All right, I'm going to show y'all. You ready? I think this is what we want. Hang on. We'll put the brushes in the water. I'm going to hold on to this white brush for right now. Oh, thank you, Patricia. Wow, that's really sweet of you. Yeah, practice makes you get better, doesn't it? All right, here we go, y'all. Are you ready? I know it's going to be backwards for y'all, but I still want you to see it. All right, look at that. I'm loving it. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to go through and I want to put, all right, let me see what it looks, oh, I like it. I like it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put this out of the way. I don't know if there is such a thing as out of the way for me. I'm going to turn my computer so that I don't stick it in that. Oh, I like it. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to come in here. All right, this is good. All right, look at all this. I've got all these shells here. So we're going to put some shells on here. I'm not sure what we want to do. Put some real shells on here. And I don't want colored shells. I want natural shells on here. These look more like snails. Let's see, here's some clam shells. And some little conch shells. All right, what I need is a container. Do I have anything empty? All right, let's do this. Pour these out on here so I can kind of rummage through them. All right, there's some clam shells, so we're going to add some clam shells. Maybe, oh, you know what? All right, before I do this, all right, hang on. Before I do this, hold on. I want to come in here and I want to do the water line. So let me so that I don't spill these everywhere. All right, I'm going to put this brush in the water and I'm going to get a different brush out. And the brush that I want to get out now is maybe this brush. And we're going to put, all right, I think I'm going to come back with this, but I definitely want to put some white like foam along the shoreline so that it breaks up this color. but I want to see how this jute is going to work with this. And you know what, y'all? I think it's going to be cool. So I think we need to go from the bottom first. We'll do the bottom, and then we'll come back and we'll do the top. So let me get a pair of scissors. And I'm kind of thinking the best way to do this, gosh, I hope I'm doing the right thing. All right, I think what I want to do, all right, let me get my shelves out of the way. I'll come back to those. I think what I want to do is put a little bit of glue. Whoa, not that big glob, but here we are. Gonna put that on there. This is where it's gonna get a little bit tedious, but that's okay. All right, let me see what this is gonna do. All right, and then we're gonna clip this off. Oh, I need a better pair of scissors. All right, let's see here. Well, I need a better pair of scissors, y'all. Oh, you know what scissors I need? Hold on a minute. I know exactly which scissors I need. I need a small pair of scissors. And I have a small pair of scissors. So let's see. That's better. Okay, that, I'm going to pull that off of there. And we're going to try that again. All right, here we go. We're going to take this, and put a little bit of glue on here, not a lot. We're going to stick this down on here, and we're going to snip that off. That's what I want, okay? And I think the idea is I think it's gonna be better if I go from the bottom to the top. So here we go. And I'm using a small glue gun. Good. And I'm not gonna do all of the pieces. I'm going to just do a few so that there's a little bit of variation on there. This is the part that I really wanted to do. I don't know, maybe I will do this in between. I think I will. I think I am going to do these. These are the better scissors to use. All right, just a small piece in here. Okay, and we're going to come around. Let's get all these glue strings off of here. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing all along here. So really the color of the, that's cute. Could almost use, you know, a thinner strand of this. All right, here we go. There's no quick way to do this. Now, if you wanted to, you could use raffia for this too. just going to keep going. I'm going to do the bottom, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the top to overlay it. All right, let me unwind this so that I can use it. Go. And I'm going to clip this so that it's not hanging off there. Let's see if y'all can see this. All right, here we go. I'm going to do a couple of these maybe at a time. Fix that one. Telling you, this is the kind of stuff that you could do for hours and just play with it and keep, you know, bringing new elements in here. I don't think you could have too much of it. You know, another thing that you could do is you could take, if you wanted to, you could line this with rhinestones if you wanted to add like a sparkle to it. But I'm going to keep it kind of beachy with no rhinestones. Yep, these are definitely the right scissors. I don't use them very often, but when I do, they always come in handy. All right, here we go, y'all. Should have brought some water over here. Just filling in these. This is so cute. I know this is kind of tedious, but I think that I think it's going to look fun once we get it all done, y'all. can get 2 of these at one time. You can't go but so fast because otherwise the glue dries on you. And then after we get, you know, everything done, we can go back and see if there's any more paint that we want to add. All right, we got the bottom tier almost done. Now, you don't have to add the jute, of course, y'all know that. But, you know, you might find something else that works better. But this is what I had, and I thought, well, I think this will be kind of cool. So this is what I decided on. We will see when we get done how we like it, right? All right, one last one on the bottom. I just think it's fun to add the extra stuff to it. All right, so this is what we have so far. We've got the jute on there. Let me take this off of here. I don't need this anymore. And I'm going to turn it around. Well, actually, I think I'm going to do it this way, sideways. And here we go. We're going to come in here. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do it? Do I want to overlap it? Which I think I do. All right, let's see what happens. Let's not overlap it and see what happens. And I'm using a mini. Let's leave it separate. Yeah, I think it needs to come back so that you can see the difference between the top layer and the bottom layer. All right, here we go. Next one. This one up. Kind of feeling like it needs to come all the way up to that point. And this one up. All right, it's getting there. I feel like I need something for the top. I don't know what I have. Maybe a button or something. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Put a button up there. I just bought a whole bunch of buttons. It was like a whole bag for $1. And so I'm itching to do something with buttons. All right, almost done. I'm going to need another glue stick. All right, let me get another glue stick. How cute is this, y'all? All right, here we go. Got just a few more strands to add. All right, we've got about 5 more of these to do, and then we will be done. Yeah, I think we need like a button or something at the top, but I'll have to do that offline because I don't have it here with me. Okay. Now, a real thatched roof or umbrella would not have any space between the top and the bottom, but it does make it so that there's, you know, a little bit of break for your eyes. So that's the only reason why I'm not connecting it, because otherwise I would. When I was in Uganda, they had thatched like umbrellas and stuff like that, and they were really cool looking. It's not something that we see here in the United States a lot. Okay. All right, we got this one and one more. All right, last one. Ooh, that's hot. Okay, all right, let me get all these glue strings out of here. All right, I'm loving it. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go, all right, so this is what we have. There's our umbrella, the little thatched portion of it. And then we need to put, you know, the other thing I have, hold on a minute. Oh, I don't have a gold one. I could put a, what do you call it? Like a half bead or something there. I might do that, like a half wooden bead. That might be where I go with that. And I'm not going to do a bird there. It feels like there should be a bird there, but I'm not going to do it. So let me get a brush. I want to get the right brush, and we're going to add a little bit of white paint for touch up to, and y'all know me, I like to kind of, since I am kind of new to painting, I like to kind of dab my brush. All right, so I think I want to do the heavy body paint. So let me grab this and come over here, put these scissors out of the way. These scissors didn't do me any good at all. All right, so I'm going to just kind of take a little bit of this heavy body paint. And what I want to do is I want to come in here and I want to see, okay, I think this will do what I want it to do. Yep. Okay, I want this to have like some white rough water action at the shore. And so I'm going to just kind of dab this in here. I need to watch some videos about actually shorelines and things like that. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, so we're going to do a little bit down here, and we're going to do a little bit over here. And all this is going to do is this is going to kind of bring the two colors together so that it doesn't look like such a sharp line. All right, so here we go. I'm going to do the same thing over here, underneath the chair, and go along the shoreline. And I'll show you in just a minute. All I'm doing is just kind of pouncing this in here. I'm sure there's a better way to do it, and as I get better, I will teach y'all more. But right now, this is kind of what I have. So what I've done is I've just taken, let's see if I can show you, and I've added some white paint in there so that it looks like a shoreline. All right, and then I think what I want to do is maybe add a little bit of paint in here so that it gives this a little bit more definition. And then this one in here. And so these waves that were on the Essential Stencil, all I'm doing is taking and just giving it a little bit of dimension. I could probably use even a smaller brush for that. All right, and then I'm going to come over here, and these waves here, I'm going to do the same thing. Just giving it a little bit of dimension. So it doesn't look quite so flat. Come over here and do the same thing. Okay, so this is what we have. All right, and then let me show you what I have. Okay, so all I've done is taken, and this is part of the stencil, these wavy lines. I just added some paint, and then where the sand and the water meet, I added a little bit of paint there, and I'm going to add a little bit more and just kind of build this up. Like the water is coming on along the shore. And same thing here. And over, I'm just going to go along the shoreline again and just kind of add another layer of paint so that it has some texture to it. Okay. All right, I'm liking it. All right, so now it looks like, hey, Berta, how are you? I'm good. Good to see you. All right, so this is what we have. This is what we did the other day. Now, can you see so I added some jute to the top, and then I want to get like a half wooden bead for the where the top of the umbrella is, but I'll have to go find where those are. I don't know where they are right away. And then I wanted to add just a pop of red in here to break up the blues. And all right, so I think that's it. We're going to add some shells. I've got some shells that we can add. Let me put this out of the way so that I don't stick my project in it, because I am notorious for doing that. And you can close those drawers there. All right, so let's see what shells I want to play with. I had a couple of bags. So let's see what we got. These are a little bit bigger. Let's see if we've got any in here that are going to work. So this one would be good. I could take, and where this painted one is, it's not quite covering it. This one might be better. I think I like that one. I think I like that better. All right, so we're going to do that one. And let's see what else we have. That's a broken one. Even though there are lots of broken shells on the beach. All right, maybe we'll do this one here. That one's kind of big, so maybe too big. This one's more the size of, see how I want to put, where I want to put these. I really need a container to put these on. Let me get a paper towel. And we'll just see what we have here. I want some more of the natural colors. Oh, this is kind of pretty. And I want them so they're not quite so big. I'm going to just kind of place them on here, and we're going to see what we like. We've got a lot of the same kind of shells. Oh, here's like this one's pretty. A little broken one. Hey, Stephanie. Good to see you. All right, here we go. Here's another. I kind of like these broken conch shells because I see those on the beach all the time. Let's see, is that one? We'll turn this guy upside down. Well, maybe we won't because he doesn't want to lay that way. All right, so there we go. I think this one's too big, so we're going to pull that guy out. And we're going to put, see, there's, you know what, y'all? The brown on this chair is matching these shells almost perfectly. These are a lot of, right, these are not, I need to find some that are not all spirals. All right, let me put these back in here. Now these shells here I did not find. These shells I bought. I live near the beach, and about 45 minutes from the beach, and so I can go to the ocean front and then usually buy shells pretty inexpensively, and that's what this bag of shells here is. All right, so I'm going to put these back in here. Here's one that's a little bit different. And, all right, let's take these and dump these out, see what we have. A lot of them are round. I want like some clam shells. There's a clam shell. I grew up going to the beach, and I used to have to, you know, they have water shoes now. But when I was growing up, they didn't have water shoes, and the crabs would pinch my feet. They would always grab my toes and pinch my toes. And I would be screaming, and my mom would be saying, what's the matter? Well, I guess my mom got tired of me screaming, and so she told me to just wear a pair of old tennis shoes to swim in the water with. And so that's what I did. Here I was, this little girl, walking in the water with tennis shoes. All right, I think I like that, except for this one's bright white and it doesn't match. I kind of like the muted colors. I don't normally go for muted colors, but that's more like, I can still remember walking into the water with these tennis shoes on. It was an old pair of tennis shoes. And they would get wet. I can still feel, you know, my shoes getting wet for the first time. And then after that, I'd come out of the water and I go slosh, 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 slosh all the way back up to the beach. But it worked. My mom was a genius. I had a very wise mom, and she made it happen. And okay, I'm liking these, y'all. This is it. I think this is what we're gonna do. I like the brown tones on that. All right, and then this one here, I don't know if we're going to bring this one in or not. Maybe there. It really needs to, if it goes. I love the underside of the shells because that's where you see the color. All right, let me see. Do I want to put something over here? Maybe. Let's see what we got. So you can imagine this little girl sloshing. I mean, this is before there were water shoes, y'all. You know, whoever capitalized on that idea was genius, because I know we would have bought one. All right, so there is that. I'm going to start gluing these down. Oops. I think this is going to be easier, for this one is so small. And then this. This is gonna be pretty cool. Got this one here. Yeah, I made a seashell wreath one year, and that turned out really, really neat. I think I used hot glue to glue it together. That was before I really knew what would work. I think if I had to do, I don't know what I would use now, but it stayed for years, and I had pink in my in our house. With my husband and I lived on the Chesapeake Bay when we first got married. I don't know if I should do that one upside down. I think I'm gonna do this one upside down, y'all. That was the other thing, is we used to always dig for the baby clams at the shoreline. That was always fun. I didn't like the sand fiddlers, because I didn't like things crawling on me. But I would dig, but I wouldn't let them go in my hand. All right, I think I want this one upside down too. I think I like that. Do I? No, I think I'll do this one. All right, I'm gonna let's see if I can get this close to the edge without burning myself. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that, because this is kind of small, but I do like it. I like the colors on this one. All right, I'm gonna just do the edge of this. Ooh, that's hot. Hot, hot, hot. There we go. All right, let's see if I got them all. I like these colors. I think we're done, y'all. All right, let me pour this back in here. Now, sometimes I use the colored shells for different projects, but for this one, I just really wanted the, here's a cute one too, a little teeny tiny one. Maybe we need one right there. All right, let's see. So the only other thing that I need to add is, all right, I'm gonna put a piece of, I think it's gonna be easier for me to put the glue and then stick the shell in it, as opposed to trying to get it on the shell. All right, so the only other thing that I wanna do is I wanna take and I wanna put like a half wooden bead here. Thanks for sprinkling, Berta. All right, so let me see if y'all can see the shells. There we go. I'll just go, and then I'll bring it back so you can see it. This way, that way, everything's backwards. So this is what we got. And let's see, I don't know if I'm gonna add, I don't think I'm gonna add any more white to it, y'all. I was thinking that I might throw some white waves back here, and I'm glad that I waited, because I think it would take away from the words. So this is what our finished product, except I'm gonna get a half wooden bead, and I'm gonna put that right up at the top. I'm gonna keep it in a natural color, so that I mean, because it would be natural. And but anyway, and I really like the way I don't know if y'all can see or not, the texture of the sand, the way that we painted that turned out really cool. All right, so beach bums, welcome. This would make a cute entryway. Thanks, Berta. This would make a cute entryway. Like you could put it on an easel, and you know, or whoever wanted it. But anyway, that's all I have. Boy, this was a long presentation. That was an hour and a half. All right, I love y'all. Jesus loves you more. And I'm Julie with Nothing is Wasted Designs. If you're not following my page, please follow it. And I appreciate y'all. Berta, I'm still praying for you. Did you get my reply to one of your prayer requests on the Inspired by Grace post that I did yesterday, event that I did yesterday? I answered you and told you what I felt like the Holy Spirit was telling me. So feel free to message me if you have any questions about it. And anyway, I'm still praying for you. All right? I love y'all. Jesus loves you more. Bye-bye.